19-year-old alien virgin was being auctioned by her father, until a human lumberjack saved her. The air shimmered, thick with the scent of ozone and the acrid tang of alien fear. Jake Riley didn't give a shit about either. His mission was simple: acquire the Crithar data shard. He'd tracked it to this black market hovel, buried deep beneath the lava-scarred surface of Xylos Prime, a world of perpetual twilight and mineral veins that pulsed with geothermal energy. He'd been promised a fortune, enough to make the ghosts of his past finally shut the hell up. Then the stage lights flared, bathing the central platform in an obscene, lurid crimson. The auctioneer, a corpulent, multi-limbed creature with too many mouths, screeched into the mic, and Jake felt his gut clench, not for the shard, but for the girl. She stood shackled, slender wrists bound by glowing energy cuffs. Her skin was a mesmerizing canvas of deep violet, crisscrossed with luminescent patterns that pulsed a faint, furious blue. Bioluminescent, he noted, a detail that shouldn't matter. Her eyes, wide and obsidian, scanned the crowd with a fierce, defiant pride, even as a tremor ran through her delicate frame. 19, the auctioneer squawked. Pure, untouched, an heiress of the ancient Crithar bloodline, offered by her very own father, Patriarch Gorvan, to the highest bidder for a ritual union. Jake's jaw tightened. This wasn't some back-alley deal for tech. This was flesh, packaged and sold. His hand went to the grip of his silenced pulse rifle, a familiar, cold comfort. He didn't save people. He just didn't. But the way her head tilted, a silent challenge in those dark eyes, despite the humiliation, it sparked something ugly and old inside him. A virgin of unparalleled beauty and lineage, the auctioneer bellowed, saliva spraying from his many mouths. A prize for any clan seeking to bind itself to the ancient power of Crithar. The bidding war began, a flurry of guttural shouts and flashing credits. Jake ignored it, his gaze fixed on the girl. She looked like a trapped predator, ready to snap. Her bioluminescence flared brighter, then dimmed, a flicker of despair beneath the defiance. He saw the Patriarch Gorvan, a hulking figure with ritual scars etched into his leathery face, watching from a private booth, a cruel smirk on his lips. This wasn't just a political marriage. It was a public shaming. He understood that kind of pain. 50,000 credits, a grotesque slavering beast roared. 60, 75. Jake felt a cold rage settle over him. An unwelcome guest. He was supposed to be in, out, gone. No complications, no heroics. Yet the memory of another face, another helpless victim, flashed through his mind. Fuck. He brought the rifle up, the movement fluid. Silent. Not a sound from the weapon. A pinpoint laser dot appeared on the auctioneer's throat. The creature's multifaceted eyes went wide just before it gargled, a spray of green blood splattering the pristine platform. Chaos erupted. Shouts, screeches, the clatter of overturned seats. Jake didn't hesitate. He swung the rifle, taking out two burly guards moving towards the stage. One shot, one kill. Clean. Efficient. Get down, he barked at the girl, his voice rough, amplified only by the sudden silence that descended on the platform. She stared at him, those obsidian eyes burning with a mix of shock and primal suspicion. Now, unless you want to be collateral damage. He didn't wait. He leaped onto the platform, the energy cuffs crackling as he expertly disabled them with a single, precise shot. Her wrists were free, red welts already forming. She flexed her fingers, then glared at him. Her bioluminescence was a frantic, pulsating rhythm now. Who are you, human? She demanded, her voice a low growl, surprisingly deep and resonant for her slender build. He ignored the question. Move. He grabbed her arm, his grip firm but not bruising. She flinched at his touch, a sudden jolt like static electricity. He could feel the faint tremor in her muscles. She was terrified, but still, there was that edge of an untamed beast. He pulled her towards the nearest exit, towards the back alleys and the network of dangerous tunnels leading out of this hellhole. He could hear the thundering footsteps of Gorvan's guards already closing in. His mission was officially compromised. The data shard could go to hell. This was bigger. This was stupid. The Crithar heiress Lara resisted for a fraction of a second, her slender arm taut under his hand. Unhand me, savage. I am Zilara, daughter of Patriarch Gorvan. Yeah, and your daddy just tried to sell your ass to the highest bidder. Jake shot back, not breaking stride. Less talk, more running, princess. Unless you prefer becoming some alien's pet. He dragged her through a narrow service corridor, the air thick with the stench of oil and refuse. Behind them, laser fire ripped through the main auction hall, the shouts of the enraged bidders and Gorvan's enforcers growing louder. Zilara stumbled, her elegant three-toed feet unaccustomed to such frantic movement. He pulled her upright, his gaze scanning ahead for their escape route. You're a fast learner or you're dead, your choice. I am Krthar, she hissed, her eyes blazing, the bioluminescent patterns on her face flaring like angry brands. We do not run from lesser beings. Funny, because I just saw you tied to a post, ready to be bonded to a fat, bug-eyed freak, Jake retorted, ducking under a low-hanging pipe. He pushed her ahead, forcing her through a tight vent shaft. Now move it, unless you want to spend the rest of your life bonding with whatever horny asshole won the bidding. The shaft was too small for him to get his pulse rifle around properly. He swore under his breath, relying on his training. He could hear their pursuers, heavy footsteps on the metal plating, shouts of, "She fled! Find the human!" Gorvan's voice, resonant with fury, echoed through the metallic passages. Bring her back. And the human. Alive. I want to know how he broke my security. They crawled through the cramped, dust-choked ventilation system, the only way out of the immediate area. Zilara scraped her knee, a soft alien whimper escaping her lips. Jake heard it, a flash of something akin to guilt. Quit whining, he grunted, though his voice was softer than he intended. We're almost out. His internal sensors, part of his old gear he still kept, picked up heat signatures approaching fast. Faster. They're on us. He kicked open a grate, tumbling out into a cavernous, mineral-streaked tunnel. The air here was colder, carrying the faint metallic scent of excavated ore. Zilara landed awkwardly beside him, scrambling to her feet. You speak of bonding as a crude act, she said, ignoring the scrape and the immediate danger, her voice filled with a strange mix of offense and curiosity. It is a sacred ritual, a claiming. Her eyes fixed on him, those dark pools trying to decipher his crude human words. You have claimed me then? Is this the human way of mating? Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed, an intense, almost frantic blue. Jake froze. He looked at her, at the raw, vibrant power shimmering beneath her skin, and then at the utter misunderstanding in her obsidian eyes. What the hell? No! I rescued your ass from being sold, you insane alien princess. It's not a mating, it's a jailbreak. He pinched the bridge of his nose. God damn it, this is what I get for having a shred of conscience. A jailbreak, she repeated slowly, tasting the foreign words. Is that a human bonding ritual? It is violent and exhilarating. Her patterns flared, a sudden burst of vibrant purple. He swore he could feel a faint hum, a resonance that vibrated deep within his bones. He dismissed it as adrenaline. You broke the binds. You fought. You claimed me from my father's grasp. This is the Krthar way. My father would have expected no less from a true mate. Her gaze was intense, unwavering. You are powerful, human. A strange, unpredictable male. Powerful? I'm just trying not to get killed, he muttered, pulling her further into the tunnel. The ground vibrated faintly. His sensors confirmed it. Seismic activity. Shit, this whole place is unstable. He pointed to a fissure in the rock face, a narrow crack barely wide enough for them to squeeze through. In here now. Zilara hesitated for a moment, her eyes darting between him and the crumbling tunnel. Is this also part of the jailbreak? She asked, a strange light in her eyes. It's part of not getting crushed by 1,000 tons of rock, you idiot, Jake snapped, shoving her into the fissure. He followed close behind, the rough rock scraping against his armor. The tunnel groaned, the sound of fracturing stone echoing around them. Dust and small pebbles rained down. He could hear Gorvan's enforcers screaming orders, their heavy boots thudding on the tunnel floor, getting closer. The fissure was getting tighter, forcing them body to body. Her skin, cool and smooth, pressed against his arm, his chest, the bioluminescent patterns flaring erratically in the darkness. A strange, unfamiliar warmth began to spread through him, a deep thrumming that had nothing to do with the collapsing tunnel. What the hell was that? They squeezed deeper into the fissure, the rock walls pressing in from all sides. Jake could feel Zilara's lithe form against his, the soft give of her flesh through his combat suit, the unnerving pulse of her bioluminescence against his own skin. It was tight, too tight, a claustrophobic embrace he hadn't asked for. He tried to ignore the strange hum that had started in his bones, the odd sense of connection that flared whenever their bodies brushed. Just a little further, he grunted, pushing forward, his shoulder aching from the strain. The fissure narrowed even more, forcing Zilara to turn, her back against his chest, as he continued to worm his way through. Her hair, a cascade of dark, fine tendrils that shifted with faint light, brushed against his cheek. "This is close," Zilara breathed, her voice a low murmur against the rock. Her bioluminescent patterns, a network of intricate lines across her violet skin, flared with a soft, warm glow, illuminating the cramped space with an ethereal light. He could feel the rapid thump of her heart against his back. "Is this a part of your jailbreak ritual, human? To share such proximity?" There was a strange inflection in her tone, a mixture of question and something else, something deeper. He felt the shift, a subtle change in her body language from tense defiance to a curious, almost predatory stillness. "It's called not getting caught, princess," Jake muttered, his voice gruff, trying to ignore the heat radiating from her. "And no, it's not a damn ritual, just survival." He heard the frustrated shouts of Gorvan's guards echoing from behind them, their weapons discharging, futilely firing into the shrinking opening of the fissure. "They're pissed. Good." A sudden violent tremor shook the fissure. The rock ceiling above them groaned, dust and small debris raining down. A sharp, jagged shard of rock sheared off, grazing Zilara's shoulder. She cried out, a sharp alien sound of pain and surprise. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin flared violently, a blinding flash of pure white light, so intense it burned into Jake's retinas. He instinctively wrapped an arm around her, pulling her tighter against him, shielding her from the falling debris. His own body tensed, anticipating the cave-in, and then it happened. As her pain response surged, a wave of pure, raw energy washed over him, hot and overwhelming. It wasn't physical, it was inside. A psychic connection, instantaneous and searing. He saw flashes of images, the cold stone of her father's chambers, the humiliation of the auction, a deep, primal fear, but also an overwhelming sense of ancient pride, of destiny. And then, a burst of desire, potent and direct, aimed at him. "What the fuck was that?" Jake gasped, shoving himself forward the last few feet, tumbling out of the fissure into a small, relatively stable cave pocket. He landed hard, Zilara half-sprawled over him. His head spun. The hum in his bones was a full-blown thrum now, and he could feel her emotions like his own, a turbulent mix of fear, anger, and a startling, undeniable attraction. Zilara was shaking, her luminous skin still pulsing with that intense white light. Her obsidian eyes were wide, fixed on him, filled with a primal awe. "The resonance," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "My pain, it resonated with your core. You felt me, truly felt me." She lifted a slender hand, her fingers trembling slightly, and pressed them against his chest, right over his heart. "We are bound, human, through the pain touch. It is a rare claiming, stronger than any spoken oath." Jake pushed her gently off him, scrambling back. "Bound? What in God's name are you talking about?" His mind reeled. He'd dealt with a lot of weird shit in his life, but never a psychic face melt from an alien princess. "Look, lady, I don't know what kind of voodoo alien crap you just pulled, but I don't bind to anyone, especially not some princess I just met 5 minutes ago." He tried to shake off the lingering sensation, the bizarre echo of her emotions. It felt like an invasive violation, yet also undeniably warm. Zilara's lip curled, a flash of her usual arrogance returning, though still laced with the aftershocks of the bond. "You felt it, human. Do not deny the truth. Our very essences, our cores now intertwined. You are mine just as I am yours. By the laws of the Krethar, you have claimed me through trial and pain. This jailbreak has become our joining ritual. She stood, regal even with dust clinging to her violet skin, and surveyed the small cave. My father will feel this resonance. He will send hunters, not just for me, but for you. She stepped closer, her luminous eyes blazing. You have become a marked male, human. You carry my claim. Marked? Jake scoffed, though a shiver ran down his spine. I don't carry anything but a bad attitude and a pulse rifle. He checked his weapon, ensuring it hadn't taken damage in the fall. He could still hear the distant shouts of Gorvan's forces, but they were fading. The cave-in had bought them time. Look, we need to find another way out of this rock, and then you go your way, I go mine. This bond, or whatever you call it, it's just a side effect of a traumatic event. It'll wear off. He hoped to hell it would. He didn't need another anchor to drag him down. Zylara let out a low musical laugh, surprisingly confident despite their predicament. Her bioluminescence shifted to a soft, inviting lavender. Wear off? Human, you are hilariously ignorant. The pain-touch bond is for life. It deepens, it does not fade. You feel my emotions now, yes? And soon my hunger and my rage. And I, yours. She took another step, closing the distance, her slender fingers tracing the line of his jaw. My father will be furious. He will demand your death. But now, you are mine to protect, or to consume. Her eyes lingered on his mouth, and a slow, knowing smile spread across her alien features. Such a simple, direct creature. You deny the bond, yet your essence calls to me. Your fear, your anger, and yes, your own strange hunger. Jake felt the familiar prickle of irritation, but underneath it, a new sensation, a hot, surging awareness of her. Her scent, a subtle mix of ozone and something floral, filled his nostrils. Her fingers, cool and alien against his skin, sent shivers through him. He jerked his head back. Get your damn hands off me. I'm no one's property, especially not some alien princess with daddy issues. He still felt the faint, distant echo of her thoughts, a complex tapestry of pride, frustration, and that unnerving desire. It was like living with a second, unruly mind sharing his skull. Property. Zylara tilted her head, her bioluminescent patterns dimming slightly in confusion, then brightening with a sudden playful intensity. Is that what you call a mate, human? A property? Perhaps your species is less evolved than I thought. She chuckled, a sound like chimes. Do not be alarmed, human. It is a claiming, a bond. It means you are mine, and I am yours. It means we share everything. Her gaze dropped to his crotch, a slow, appraising look that made his blood run hot. Even your surprising hunger. My hunger is for a hot meal and a cold beer, not for a bonded alien princess. Jake growled, his voice rougher than intended. His hand, almost without his conscious will, went to the sidearm at his hip. Look, we need to figure out how to get out of here. And then you can go back to your sacred rituals and I can go back to whatever the hell I do. He tried to put distance between them, but the small cave offered little space. The oppressive feeling of her emotional state mirroring his own was disconcerting. Deny it all you wish, human, Zylara purred, her eyes alight with challenge. But the bond is sealed. My people will hunt us. Not to free me, but to sever the unauthorized bond, to reclaim their heiress and to exterminate the unexpected male who dared to claim her outside the sanctioned ritual. She took another step, closing the space he'd tried to create. Her hand rose, her long, slender fingers gently touching the side of his neck just below his ear. Her touch was feather-light, but the sensation of it burned. Your heart races, human. Your core hums with the same resonance as mine. You are excited by this danger. By this claiming, a predatory smile touched her lips. By me. He could feel the warmth radiating from her, a subtle pheromonal shift that was both foreign and intoxicating. His body was reacting, betraying his carefully constructed detachment. Damn it. This wasn't just physical. It was deep, primal, and unsettlingly familiar in a way he couldn't explain. The hunt was on, and they were the prey. He had a feeling his jailbreak just turned into something far more complicated. Excited? I'm assessing escape routes and calculating probabilities of getting my ass roasted. Jake retorted, though the lie felt thin even to himself. Her touch on his neck sent a strange ripple through him, a jolt that had nothing to do with danger. He was acutely aware of her. Every curve, every luminous pulse of her skin, the subtle shift in the air around her. The bond, or whatever the hell it was, intensified his senses to her, making her presence almost overwhelming. Don't flatter yourself, princess, you're just a complication. Zilara's smile widened, a flash of sharp, pearl-like teeth. A complication that quickens your pulse, human. I feel it. It is exhilarating. Her fingers traced the line of his jaw down to his throat, then lower, brushing the collar of his suit, right where his heart beat a frantic rhythm. My people believe that a bond forged in fire is the strongest. You brought the fire, human. She leaned closer, her exotic scent filling his lungs, blurring his thoughts. My father will send the Krethar enforcers. They are merciless. They will not stop until they have me and your head on a pike. Her voice dropped to a low, husky purr. But with the bond, we share more than just fate. We share strength. He could feel the raw power emanating from her, not just physical strength, but something older, deeper. His combat training screamed danger, but another, more primitive part of him, stirred by the unnatural bond, felt a pull, a challenge. Yeah, well, strength doesn't stop a laser blast, Jake muttered, moving to scan the cave's walls for weaknesses. We need to find a way out of this rock before those bastards bring it down on our heads. He ran a hand over the rough stone, searching for any sign of a hidden passage. You said your father would feel this bond. What does that mean exactly? Is he going to track us psychically? He will feel the absence of my essence from his control, Zylara clarified, her voice now more serious, the playful taunt replaced by a cold assessment. And the presence of your strange resonance intertwined with mine. It is an abomination in his eyes, a defiance. He will send hunters, not merely Krethar guards, but the blade dancers, my people's elite. They are bound by honor to reclaim what is lost and to destroy what defiles. Her glowing patterns pulsed, a faint blue of determination. They will kill you, and if they cannot reclaim me, they will ensure my essence is purified. Jake scoffed. Purified. Sounds like a fancy word for killed with extreme prejudice. He found a faint seam in the rock wall, a hairline fracture that looked like it might expand. This isn't good. We're trapped like rats. His eyes narrowed, contemplating their dwindling options. He could try to blast his way out, but the risk of triggering a full cave-in was too high. He was ex-special forces, not a damn demolition expert. Any bright ideas, princess? Or are you just going to stand there looking pretty and radiating your damn emotions at me? Zilara stepped closer to the seam, running her fingers over the fracture. Her touch seemed to make the faint hum in his own bones intensify. There is a path, she stated, her voice calm, confident. A spirit path, used by ancient Krethar for sacred trials. It is dangerous, unforgiving, but it leads to the surface, far from the city. She turned to him, her eyes locking onto his, intense and unblinking. But to traverse it, we must be truly unified. The bond must be deepened, strengthened by shared purpose, by shared will. Her gaze dropped to his lips, then lower, to the straining fabric over his groin, and by shared pleasure. Shared pleasure? Jake repeated, his voice strained. His eyes flickered down to where her gaze rested, and a jolt of heat surged through him. He was definitely, regrettably reacting. Are you out of your damn mind? We are on the run from a pissed-off patriarch and a squad of blade dancers, and you're talking about pleasure? He shook his head, trying to clear the fog. There's no time for that kind of bullshit. No time for weakness, human, Zilara corrected, her tone commanding yet laced with a dangerous allure. The bond is a conduit. To survive the spirit path, we must flow as one. Our essences must intertwine fully. Only then can we withstand its trials. You call it pleasure, we call it sacred unity. A merging of cores. It will make us stronger, yes, and it will make you mine beyond doubt. She reached out, her cool, slender fingers wrapping around his forearm, her touch sparking that familiar, unsettling resonance. Her bioluminescence flared, a seductive kaleidoscope of blues and purples. Do you deny me, human? Do you deny the path to survival? Do you deny this? Her voice was a low growl, laced with a potent mix of challenge and promise. Her eyes burned into his, utterly dominant. The air crackled with unspoken tension. Jake stared at her, the absurdity of the situation crashing down on him. An alien princess on the run, cornered in a cave, demanding sex as a survival ritual. And the worst part? His body, thanks to this damn bond, was screaming, yes. The spiritual link to her emotions was overwhelming, a tidal wave of primal need and ancient purpose. He felt her hunger, mirroring his own, intensified by the forced proximity, the raw danger. The air in the cramped cave felt thick, charged with the unspoken. Her bioluminescence pulsed, drawing his eyes to the soft shifting glow along her collarbone, the gentle swell of her breasts, the elegant curve of her hips. He could practically taste the desire radiating from her. This is insane, he muttered, his voice hoarse. You're insane. I'm insane for even listening. His gaze dropped to her mouth, the full exotic curve of her lips. Her scent, that mix of ozone and floral sweetness, was intoxicating. His training, his cynicism, everything he'd built to protect himself, was crumbling under the assault of her alien sensuality and the damn bond. He could feel her impatience, a fierce, barely contained heat. Denial is weakness, human, Sylara purred, her fingers tightening on his arm, then sliding up, her touch searing a trail along his bicep. Weakness will kill us both on the spirit path. Your body understands, even if your simple mind resists. She moved closer, invading his personal space, her chest brushing his. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin flared, a violent, almost aggressive pulse of vibrant fuchsia. Do you think I enjoy this position? Auctioned, then forced to bond with a crude, unpredictable male? But the bond chooses, and it chose you. Her eyes, dark and fathomless, bored into his. Now, we embrace it, or we die. Her other hand came up, framing his face, her touch surprisingly soft yet firm, holding him captive. He could feel the slight tremor in her fingers, a hint of vulnerability beneath the dominant facade. You feel my fear, yes? She whispered, her gaze intense. My fear of failure, of dishonoring my ancestors, but also my fierce pride, my need to survive, and my primal desire to claim what the bond has offered. Her thumbs traced the line of his cheekbones, then brushed over his lips. Let go of your resistance, human. Let the bond guide us. His breath hitched. He closed his eyes for a moment, battling the torrent of sensations. He could feel her essence, a powerful, ancient force that resonated with something deep inside him, something he hadn't known existed. His body was tightening, throbbing. God damn it, he choked out, his voice a ragged whisper. You're a force of nature, aren't you? I am Krithar, she stated, her voice a low, guttural rumble that vibrated through him. And you are mine. She leaned in, her alien face close to his, her exotic scent overwhelming. He felt the brush of her lips against his, soft and hesitant at first, then firming, demanding. It wasn't a human kiss. It was a claiming, a testing, a consumption. Her tongue, surprisingly warm and slick, flickered against his, tasting, exploring. A low moan escaped him, a sound he hadn't known he was capable of. The bond flared, a white-hot explosion of sensation that shot through him, from his core to his extremities. He felt her pleasure, her triumph, her raw, unleashed desire mirrored within him. His hands almost instinctively found her waist, gripping her slender frame, pulling her flush against him. Her bioluminescent patterns swirled and danced across her skin, a wild, passionate light show that synced with the frantic beat of his heart. He felt her hips press against his, the hard planes of her alien body fitting against his as if designed for him. She shifted, a subtle, deliberate movement grinding against him, and a ragged gasp tore from his throat. The cave air grew thick, humid, reflecting the rising heat between them. You are an untamed storm, human, she whispered, pulling back slightly, her eyes glittering with unholy light. But I will ride the lightning. Her fingers were already at the fastenings of his combat suit, her movements surprisingly deft, fueled by an urgent need. He felt the cool air against his skin as she pushed aside the heavy fabric, her touch burning where it lingered. His own hands fumbled with the delicate fastenings of her ornate clothing, driven by a desperate, animalistic urge. He wanted her naked, wanted to feel the full heat of her bioluminescent skin against his. "Just don't expect flowers and sweet nothings, princess," he rasped, his voice raw with desire. He tore at her clothes, the elaborate fabric giving way with a soft rip. Her bare skin was revealed, a breathtaking canvas of deep violet, pulsing with patterns of emerald and sapphire light. She was everything out of this world promised, and more. Curvy in ways that defied human anatomy, yet utterly compelling. He felt the primitive urge to claim, to possess, to meld. The bond was a raging inferno now, stripping away all resistance, all reason. Her eyes held his, dark pools of unbridled passion, and he saw himself reflected there, raw and hungry. This wasn't just survival. This was a deeper, more primal form of claiming. Her hands, surprisingly strong, pushed his suit down past his shoulders, exposing his bare chest, scarred and muscled. Her luminous fingers traced the outlines of his old wounds, lingering over a particularly nasty burn scar. "These are your trials, human," she murmured, her voice husky, her gaze intense. "Each mark tells a story of survival, of strength." Her eyes then dropped lower to his burgeoning erection, pressing hard against the confining fabric of his trousers. "And this tells a story of your unbridled desire." She tore at the remaining fabric, freeing him, her touch deliberate, possessive. A groan ripped from Jake's throat as her alien hand, warm and oddly textured, wrapped around him, her grip firm, almost commanding. The sensation was electric, unlike anything he'd ever felt. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed violently, a silent testament to her own escalating arousal, illuminating the cramped cave with an erotic glow. You're a goddamn siren," he choked out, his eyes wide, mesmerized by the sheer intensity of her. "I am the Crothar heiress," Zilara corrected, her voice a low growl, her hips already grinding against his. The friction, the feel of her smooth alien skin against his, was exquisite agony. "And I claim my mate, by the touch, by the heat, by the surge." She guided him, her movements confident, assertive. She rose on her toes, her lithe body arching into his, and with a single powerful thrust, she took him in. He cried out, a raw, primal sound that echoed in the small cave. The fit was impossibly tight, incredibly hot and utterly overwhelming. He felt her muscles clench around him, a powerful alien embrace. The bond flared, a searing, white-hot explosion of shared sensation. He felt her pleasure, a tidal wave that crashed over him, mingling with his own. Her bioluminescence flared, a blinding emerald-green light that filled the cave, as if she were absorbing the very energy of their union. He could feel her spirit, her ancient power flowing into him, through him. "Mine," Zilara gasped, her eyes squeezed shut, her head thrown back, the glowing patterns on her face contorting in ecstasy. Her grip on him tightened, demanding, consuming. Her hips began to move, a slow, deliberate rhythm that quickly escalated, driving him deeper, faster. The air was thick with their mingled scents, with the humid heat of their bodies. He could hear her ragged breaths, mirroring his own. He was lost, utterly consumed by her, by the intensity of the bond, by the sheer, unbridled pleasure. His hands found her hips, gripping tight, pulling her closer, demanding more. He was no longer thinking, only feeling, reacting, responding to the ancient instinctual call of the bond. Each thrust was a deeper connection, a further surrender. He felt the last vestiges of his resistance crumble, replaced by an intoxicating fusion of their two essences. Her bioluminescence intensified, wrapping around them like a living cloak, the light pulsing with every thrust, every shuddering breath. "Zilara," he grunted, her name a foreign sound on his tongue, a desperate plea and a declaration all at once. She was a force, an untamed fire, and he was burning in her embrace. He felt her nails dig into his back, not in pain, but in primal passion, leaving faint glowing marks on his skin. He was hers, completely, irrevocably. And the terrifying part? He wanted it. Her climax came first, a powerful shuddering release that racked her slender frame. She arched against him, a guttural cry tearing from her throat, her body seizing around him. As she screamed, a burst of searing energy pulsed through him from the bond, and her bioluminescence, which had been blinding green, shifted to a brilliant, incandescent blue. He felt a sharp, almost painful sensation in his chest, as if something within him had been irrevocably altered. A thin stream of luminous, viscous fluid, impossibly warm, flowed from her, coating him, and as it touched his skin, it pulsed with the same blue light. "Marked," Zilara gasped, her voice raw, clinging to him as she shuddered. Her eyes, still squeezed shut, wept tears of pure, glowing bioluminescence. "You are now fully claimed, human. By my essence, by my life flow." He felt his own climax building, an unstoppable surge driven by the intense connection, by the overwhelming pleasure that was both his and hers. He thrust into her one last time, deep and hard, roaring her name as he emptied himself into her, releasing every ounce of tension, every shred of control. His vision swam with the blue light, the world narrowing to her body, her scent, the echoing thrum of the bond. The marks on his back from her nails burned, a strange, beautiful tattoo. Afterwards, they lay tangled, breathless, sweat-slicked in the humid cave. The bioluminescent light from Zilara's skin had softened to a gentle, pulsing glow, a soothing lavender. Jake could still feel the echo of her pleasure, the lingering warmth of her climax deep within him. His own body hummed, satiated yet strangely energized. He felt her head resting on his chest, her hair shimmering faintly, tickling his skin. He looked down at her, seeing her vulnerability for the first time. Not the defiant heiress or the dominant warrior, but a creature both powerful and fragile. What was that?" he whispered, his voice still hoarse. He touched her cheek, his fingers brushing against the cool, smooth skin. The fluid, and the marks." Zilara stirred, raising her head, her luminous eyes meeting his. She looked drained, but also intensely satisfied. "That was my life flow, human," she explained, her voice soft, almost tender, a stark contrast to her earlier commanding tone. "It is the true mark of a Krethar claiming, a biological bond deeper than the pain touch. My essence now flows within you. You are an extension of my line." She traced a finger over his chest, over the slight sheen of the fluid that still clung to his skin, now drying into faint glowing patterns that matched her own. "And your core, your very spirit, is now bound to mine. Forever." He felt a chill despite the lingering heat of their passion. Forever? What the hell does that even mean? Is this some kind of alien pregnancy? Am I going to start glowing and craving exotic minerals? He tried to inject humor, but his voice cracked. The reality of her words hit him like a physical blow. This wasn't just a hookup. This was a permanent biological spiritual tether. He, Jake Riley, the loner, the drifter, was now an extension of her line. "Not a pregnancy for you, simple human." Zilara chuckled, a soft, purring sound. "But for me, perhaps one day, when the bond matures." She shifted, sitting up, her body still glowing softly in the dimness. "For you, it means your essence is now compatible with ours. You carry my lineage, my protection. My father, he will sense this. He will know the bond is complete, and it will enrage him further." Her expression grew serious. "He will send more than just blade dancers now. He will send the purifiers. They are ritualists. Their purpose, to cleanse any defilement of the Krethar bloodline. And you, human, are the ultimate defilement." Jake ran a hand through his hair, staring at the cave ceiling. "Son of a bitch. So you're telling me I just went from rescuing a princess to being a walking abomination targeted by her entire family's death squad? Great." The thought of his old life, the quiet solitude he'd craved, seemed impossibly distant now. "What the hell do we do?" Zilara leaned in, her luminous eyes holding his, a rare flicker of vulnerability in their depths. "We survive, human. Together. The bond has given us unique strength. You felt my courage in the pain touch, yes? And my joy in the joining. Now you must trust my knowledge, my world, my people." She reached out, her fingers lacing with his. "Tell me your trials, human. Tell me of your fear, your rage. Share them as I have shared mine. The bond thrives on truth. He hesitated, then slowly a deep, ragged sigh escaped him. My name's Jake, he began, his voice low, raw. And my trials. I was special forces. On a mission, went sideways, civilian casualties, my fault. Carried that shit ever since. He didn't offer details, couldn't. But just saying it, exposing that raw wound to her, was a profound act of trust. He felt the bond hum, a strange sense of understanding and acceptance flowing from her. Zilara squeezed his hand. Then we are alike, Jake, both carrying burdens, both seeking a path to cleanse our spirits. My father sought to control my destiny, to extinguish my freedom. He nearly succeeded. Her bioluminescence pulsed, a soft, intimate glow. But you defied him. You broke the chain, and in doing so, you have claimed me in a way no forced ritual ever could. You are not a lumberjack, as you call your crude human profession, but a true warrior, a liberator. Her eyes shimmered with a new light, a deeper admiration. And now, we face the purifiers, together. Jake looked at her, truly looked at her. Zilara, the fiercely proud heiress now sharing her deepest fears, her ancient traditions, her very essence with him. She wasn't just a complication anymore. She was a partner, a force of nature, irrevocably tied to him. Purifiers, he muttered, shaking his head. So no rest for the wicked, huh? He felt the hum of the bond, a powerful protective current flowing between them. It was terrifying, yes, but also exhilarating. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel alone. Zilara smiled, a truly radiant, almost triumphant smile that transformed her alien features. Rest is for the dead, Jake. We are bonded, we are alive, and we are dangerous. She rose fluidly, her naked body glowing softly in the cave's dim light. She moved to the faint seam in the rock wall, the spirit path she'd spoken of. Her fingers, still faintly luminous from their shared essence, traced the fracture. The purifiers will follow the bond's resonance. They will know we are here. She turned back to him, her eyes burning with resolve. But they will not expect a human who has embraced the Krethar spirit. They will not expect us to fight as one. So what's the plan, Princess? Jake asked, pushing himself up, feeling the strange new power thrumming in his veins. He felt stronger, faster, somehow more connected to the very ground beneath his feet. The bond wasn't just an emotional link. It was a physical augmentation. We gonna blast our way out, or is this spirit path some kind of stealth mission? He grabbed his discarded combat suit, pulling it on. It felt different now, an extension of his own empowered body. Zilara moved with fluid grace, pulling on what remained of her ornate garments, the torn fabric now an intimate part of their shared history. The spirit path demands stealth and cunning, human. It is a trial of endurance and will. We must pass through its hidden chambers using the ancient Krethar wisdom to avoid its traps and its guardians. Her luminous patterns pulsed, a confident, vibrant blue, and we must be swift. My father will spare no resource to reclaim what he sees as his property, and to destroy what he views as a desecration. Your property just saved your ass, Jake grumbled, though a smirk touched his lips. He checked his rifle, ensuring it was loaded and ready. And desecration is kinda my specialty. So what's our first move then? Meditate our way through these rocks or kick some alien ass? He felt a strange surge of anticipation. This wasn't the quiet life he'd imagined, but it was far from boring. The bond, the constant emotional feedback loop, was unsettling, but it also made her feel incredibly close, a part of him. And for the first time in a long time, he felt a sense of purpose, even if that purpose was running from an enraged alien patriarch with a psychic-linked princess. We move with the spirits of the deep earth, Jake, Zilara commanded, her voice resonating with ancient authority, yet now laced with a newfound intimacy. We embrace the shadows, and when the time comes, we will strike with the fury of the molten core. She took his hand, her touch sending a jolt of power through him, strengthening the bond further. Her eyes, dark and resolute, met his. My father will send purifiers to sever our bond, but they will find that which cannot be broken, that which has been forged in fire. They will find us. She pulled him towards the narrow seam, the faint hum of the ancient spirit path beckoning them into the unknown. Their fight, their bond, had only just begun.